This is the Broodcast, Inkling-style Discord chat, last Friday of every month. To join, visit joshuadavidling.com/brood. And now, Operation Broodcast on Poets at War.
We're lion, witch, and warded, yeah. Our imagination's running wild and free. In Middle Earth or Narnia, there's magic in what we believe.
Hello.
Hey, did anyone else show up?
They will soon, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
I know Brendan's coming. I know a few other people that said they were coming. I think it's a holiday. It's late. No big deal.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I thought you had plans.
Yeah, but they're always short plans.
I gotcha. How are
Yeah,
things?
you're good. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I got nothing tied though. So yeah, no, the chat with the lady went well.
I'll cut stuff if need be, but like it's recording. It's not streaming, so yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, everything is fine. I'm a big overthinker, and it's funny because like I'll Right. I'll overthink, but then she'll like reassure and also just cut to the chase in a very nice way. That's just like not naggy, and it's like, you're fine. This is kind of adorable that you're like, but anyway, it's fun.
There's
a lot of fun.
another one. Hello, Abby.
Hey.
It's good to hear, Daniel.
Oh.
I like the shirt. Freebie.
Oh, thanks.
Is that a phoenix, or is that like the Leonard Skinner logo?
I think it's supposed to be Leonard Skinner.
Okay, gotcha. My dad saw them back at the Omni years ago, and they actually set their amps on fire by playing Freebird too loud and ended up having to play through the Omni PA.
Nice.
Oh, boy. Yep.
Sounds like a good time.
I guess. He said it was honestly not great for people who like him who wanted to hear the music, but yeah, for a party.
Yeah.
He was always that kid who was like, the audiophile back in the 70s and 80s that actually wanted everything to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Makes sense.
Yep. Oh man. So Daniel, are you bringing something tonight, or are you just hanging with everybody?
I'm just gonna hang. I work 2 jobs now, so that's no.
Mm-hmm.
Friday is about my only day.
And you have someone that you're seeing, so there's that.
Yeah. Oh, Abby, did you not catch that?
I mean, I heard that you went on a date. I didn't know if it was like
No. I have a date coming up with a girl I have been chatting with.
Cool.
Yeah. Nothing too serious, but it is a lot of fun. So.
What's up, Ian? How we doing, friend?
Hello?
Haggis.
He's there. Haggis. There you go.
Haggis.
I hear it's delicious. I've never had it.
Okay.
I am never eating haggis as long as I live.
Okay.
I will definitely eat haggis the first chance I get. But,
There are 2 kinds of people in the world.
But of course, I want to try everything. Like if it's meat related and exotic to the United States in some way, I'm like, yes, please. I want to know about this.
Yeah, I'm fine with like exotic meat, but haggis, I just draw the line at that. I mean, most Scottish people don't even like haggis.
There are 2 types of people: those who eat haggis and those who have joy in their life.
I think the oddest thing that I've ever had meat-wise is probably gator. I really like gator. Gator is delicious.
I would like to try gator.
Yeah, gator's like halfway between chicken and fish, in my opinion. So
It's the closest we'll get to eating a dinosaur.
yes, very much so. Very much so. Because it is a dinosaur. I don't care what anyone says. Crocodiles and alligators are definitely dinosaurs. And dragons, all the same. But yeah, okay. So we have Daniel not sharing, me sharing. Abby, are you sharing tonight?
I think so.
Okay, so we'll put you as a maybe. How about you, Ian?
Sort of workshopping something tonight. I'm not really. I have a story that I have written over the past 2 days, and it's one of my thrillers, and I like it, but I don't like it. I want to make it more creepy.
Got it.
Nice.
Maybe I'll be able to help tonight. Alex keeps saying like I'm far better at horror in general than I have any right being, considering I'm an epic poet and all that. But like, yeah, I do kind of get a little screwed up with my horror stuff, like dark, and people go, "Whoa, where did that come from?" Were you saying?
I think to a certain extent, yeah. I think to a certain extent, it's like you're not just interested in horror; you're interested in the wonder of everything, and
Yes.
it's part of the reason that you and I vibe is that you are just like wide-eyed wonder at everything, and horror is actually a good shortcut to that.
That's true. That is true.
Someone get Ryder. Someone get Ryder on the chat.
Right?
Talking about
Yeah, I
horror.
wonder how he's been doing. I've talked with him a little bit. He was wanting to do something with me and Alex at some point, but he never, I think, got back to us.
Who's this?
I mean,
Ryder the Omniscient. He has the YouTube channel and everything. He's been on a few times.
yeah.
Oh, him.
Yeah. So the Canadian. He's
Yeah.
British Columbia, though. He's Colombian, or excuse me, he's Canadian American though. Like he's both. But yeah. So I know that I believe Alex said he was going to be showing up at some point, if I remember correctly. I know that I have Joel's story. I know he's not going to be here, and I have my story. I don't think I know for sure if anyone else is sharing. I know Brendan said he's coming. He's driving home from some event. So that's what I think is going on so far. Obviously we can keep chatting for a bit if that's what we want to do while we wait for folk. Ian, did you get to see the picture of what the Broodcast background ended up like?
I don't know.
The one that you made for me. I rearranged the elements and made the frames bigger because I really wanted to see everybody, but I really liked the way it came out. Whoops. Let me see if I can get it. I'm going to put it in the chat once my Finder actually opens. My Finder's being a little funky. Here we go. And I did a screenshot. Is it on desktop? No. Is it in downloads? I know I made one. Let me see. Maybe I put it in Broodcast folder. Let's see. Yep, I think this is it. Well, kind of. Not really. Let me just make a screenshot real quick of the actual show here.
I gotta laugh myself. I was messaging the brute y'all all about working out and now I'm making brownies. Life is about balance.
I was gonna ask what you're making because the ingredients look like something anyway.
It's just a box mix, but it is. I studied a little bit before getting a box mix. Brands. So wait a second. Are we weird about sharing brand names on here? Probably.
I don't care. Why would that be a weird thing?
It's just like recording and it's legal stuff.
Wasn't it like
There's
advertising
nothing
for them?
legal about that. What do
The
you think
Jerry
about that, Ian?
I cannot ever pronounce the name of that.
Ghirardelli.
Ghirardelli. They make some fire brownies.
I mean, you do what you want with it, but I like it the way it was.
I like the organization of the way you had it before, but it wasn't the frames were not big enough to show anybody's faces. You know what I mean? That was the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I changed the lighting up a little bit, but otherwise it's the same elements, you know. So, but yeah,
Right.
just needed larger space for the background. I like what you did though. I'm gonna put that in there. Let me see here.
For first date, is it too much to bring one of my fresh baked cinnamon rolls and flowers?
Win
No.
them through their stomach.
Okay.
I haven't been on a whole lot of first dates, but no.
Cooking always impresses both ways. Do it always.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody ever showed up,
Fine.
heck, I mean, if someone ever showed up with a cinnamon roll and flowers, I'd be like, whoa.
Okay, I'll take it.
Knowledge is what brings us together today.
Oh goodness, not that far into it yet.
Yeah, this is the one that Ian put together. Great drawings. Absolutely. Actually, no, excuse me. That's not it. That's the one I did with the background. Let me do your original background here. Delete that one.
See,
That
it was
just me
nice.
changing the background so I can move things around. But here's the proper one here.
Oh yeah, I
Very
can.
cool.
Yeah, I can see the faces a little better in that one.
Yep. Like I said, it was just a matter of being able to see the people in the actual shots, you know, and everything. Because there's only so much space in a 16:9 image for the video elements, and so yeah.
Now that you show me both together, I think yours does look better, actually.
Yeah. I love your drawings though, and I wanted to just incorporate them, you know, as well as possible. Like I really soften a. Do what?
My portraits of Lewis and Chesterton, and honestly, that's some of my favorite work right there. I really liked doing that. So, yeah, I would be really upset if you changed those. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really like the way it came out overall. I kind of liked. I'm glad I found the little effect in Final Cut that I could give a little bit of glow to the lamp too. In my version, it gives just a little bit of glow on the outside there. I like the way that came together.
Are you guys able to see what I'm cooking?
I wasn't crazy about the glow from the lamp that I had. It didn't look right. And
yeah, I think it was just because everything else was so light in general. But
yeah,
when you readjust, it looks good.
And when you're painting with watercolors, there's really only so much you can correct.
Yeah, and darken it up, and yeah, it's only so dark you can get it from a white screen.
Yeah, and there's a certain point as an artist where you have to say,
not much.
You know what? Yeah, that's enough.
Yep, exactly.
Like if I change anything else, it's going to make it infinitely worse. So there's a point of no return.
Yep, I hear that. Oh boy. Yep. So I guess we can get going here if people are ready. I don't mind going first if I need to. If people are not ready to share, I can do Joel's first, or I can do mine. What are you thinking?
I'm sort of ready to share.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to let you go first if that's what you want to do. You may have other people have to look back on the episode and give you feedback that way, but yeah.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if other people, I absolutely know that Joel will, much to my chagrin, give me feedback on what I have written. And of course, I want to hear from Alex. So, Alex, if you're listening to this, please listen to this. And let me see, who else do I want to hear from? I guess that's it. Well, maybe Debbie. I don't know. Debbie, you do what you think what you're gonna do. But anyway, this is I read an earlier version of this story last year, I think. And I decided to basically recreate it from memory, not even look at my notes or anything, just come at it from a completely fresh angle. This is a character that is based on a guy that I know who shall remain nameless. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. But the character Mike McGee is loosely based on a guy that I know who lives in Maine and has experienced some really strange stuff over the past couple of years since he lived there. And I just thought, well, wouldn't it be great if I just made a character out of him that was in the Walter Ulrich universe? So this is loosely based on my friend. It is called Delivery of Doom. I can read the whole thing, or I can just skip right to the end where it needs the most work. I don't know what y'all want.
Way. Sorry, I was texting because I had we have a funeral tomorrow for one of our elders, so I have to go and help with that. So
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not long at all. Okay, I'll just read the whole thing.
Yeah.
The morning began at its usual hour of 10 a.m. This left enough time to guzzle down some life-giving elixir, coffee, get dressed, and ready to get to Bosco's Pizza. My room was a mess, as usual. However, the half-unpacked moving boxes were new. My sister Janet and I just moved to the state of Maine to live in our dearly departed dad's hunting lodge. Yeah, if it sounds like the premise to a horror movie, it kind of is. I'm Mike, by the way. Mike McGee. I'm a pizza delivery driver. I staggered zombie-like into the bathroom, where I looked into the mirror and saw a ghastly face staring back. I nearly screamed in terror before I blinked and realized it was just me. I could have sworn it was something much more sinister. Down the stairs I went to pour some caffeine down my esophagus, where I found my sister... Jean? Why is it Jean? Making a sandwich with my nephew Jacob. What are you still doing here? I asked groggily. 2-hour delay, she replied. You doing up this early? I gazed at the clock. It's 10:15 a.m., all right. Looking at my phone, however, I found it was only 9:15. I was confused for a minute until I remembered daylight savings had passed and I forgot to change all the clocks. I'm from the generation that doesn't always check their phone to tell time.
Hello, Brendan.
Oh, Brendan, hi.
Ian's just started reading.
Yeah, you're just in time. I made some sausage if you want it, Janet said. Uncle Mike, look what I made, said Jacob, showing me a crayon drawing. I stared at it. It was all purple and black with long, straight horns and red eyes, looking like something out of a nightmare. What is that? I asked. call him Frankie, said Jacob before returning to his coloring. It's his imaginary friend, said Janet. Given all the weird stuff I'd experienced since we moved to Maine, I wondered if Frankie was not so imaginary as Janet insisted. I warmed up the sausage, poured myself a cup of coffee, and sat down. All right, Jacob, get your shoes on and say goodbye to Uncle Mike, said Janet. Bye, Uncle Mike, said Jacob, as he gave me a hug. See ya, Slugger, I said, hugging the boy back. Bye, Janet, I added as she went out the door. Bye, said Janet. Change all these back to Janet. I don't know why I changed them in the first place. I won't bore you with the details of everything else that happened that day. It was pretty normal, except for the crackhead that accosted me that afternoon. Evening came. I was beat. I had just made the last run of the day, and I was returning to Bosco's Pizza to clock out, or so I thought. He, said Margaret, my manager, and the owner's daughter, coincidentally, a real pain in my posterior. I turned around to face her, eyes weary, ready to drop from exhaustion. I need you to make one last run. I looked at the order and grimaced. Okay, I said. I put the address into my phone, took the hot bag, and went back out to my car. I drove to the address. There was something very creepy about the neighborhood. Everything seemed darker, dimmer, stranger. I double-checked the address. I'm not familiar with this area yet. Like I said, we just moved up here. Actually from Vermont. The place looked like a Halloween decoration. Peeling paint, cobwebs everywhere, sagging front porch. I saw a faint light flickering in the window, like candles. I wondered if maybe they lost power, but something felt very, very wrong. And this is the part I'm having the most trouble with because I want to build more eeriness in here and more creepiness. I don't know how to do it though. I want to keep this story really short and punchy, but it's not really building like I want it to. Anyway, very, very wrong. I reached for the rosary I kept dangling from my rearview mirror. Holding it like a weapon as I approached the door, stairs creaking under my weight. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, I whispered. I rang the doorbell. There was a hollow tone within, like the sound of doom. There was a sudden scream from within, like a woman in labor, followed by shouting, expletives, the sounds of crashing, and then something that sounded halfway between a sheep bleating and a donkey braying. I backed away from the door, cell phone in my hand, 911 punched in. 911, what's your emergency? Hi, I began, but the words were cut off by what crashed through the window of the house. It was hard to describe. It wasn't human, nor was it like any animal I had ever seen. Like a parody of biology, a satanic practical joke. Its gawky body was ink black. Multiple eyes gazed out from its head. Its mouth, if you could call it a mouth, was a mass of dripping tentacles. I screamed. Holding my rosary aloft, I shouted, "In Christ's name, get back!" The thing recoiled from the rosary, hissing. I ran for my car, forgetting about 911. I barely made it inside before the thing was on me, making that awful screeching cry. I threw the car in gear, racing out of the neighborhood like it was the Indy 500. And that's all I've written.
Okay. So your issue is with, you don't think you're showing enough of the thing, or you think you're showing too much, or what's the...
He said the build. He wants to work on the build up.
Yeah, the build up. The thing itself, I'm pretty happy with that. I left it vague enough to build that fear of the unknown with it, but at the same time, it seems, I don't know, it seems too quick, too easy. And as far as him defeating the thing, I have him basically driving down the street as fast as he can, and the thing chases him down and grabs onto his car and starts trying to rip it open, and he hits it with a baseball bat. And
Is this Ulrich?
This is not Ulrich.
Oh no, he's frozen.
There we go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ian. We can hear you again.
Oh, okay. This is part of the Walter Ulrich universe, but it is not Walter himself, no.
Okay. So, take this with about you insert usual massive quantities of salt. Preface here. I think what you could do is, hi Casey. I think what you can do with the buildup, it's a stupid trick, but it might help, is just walk through like mentally each of your 5 senses and go, okay, as he's approaching the house, what does he do? What does he go? And then go, don't do just like one sentence of he smelled this, it smelled funky like this. Go take each sense, go, what does he see, hear, touch, taste? What does why is it weird, and how does it make him feel? If you hit all 3 of these points, you're kind of artificially padding, but what you are trying to work on is building atmosphere. And I think that while at the end of the day you're still going to need to edit it, I think it'll help be a starting point for you to build the atmosphere, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. I was also thinking about stretching the scene out where he like looks in the front window, and there's all these people gathered in a circle around the candles, and they're performing some kind of seance or something, and then the creature comes out of that.
Shut out.
I think I like the creature crashing through the window before he can see it, and I think I like that idea better. He can look inside the house, but maybe if he looks inside the house, he doesn't see them doing something, but he sees a like firelight through a doorway, right? You can't see what's going on, but
He sees candles.
He sees the candles. He might see a shadow on the wall, but yeah, I agree. Stretching the scene out, I think, is also a good idea.
Might I just recommend some, at least one fake out scare in the build-up section? You know what I mean? Just like it builds up and the tension releases, and so you think you're safe, and then boom, you're hit with something.
Ooh, that's a good idea. It's like the
I watched
tension
too many scary movies.
and then he like hears a raccoon in the garbage can or something.
Yeah.
No?
No, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Or he sees a black cat or whatever.
Yeah, I like both of the suggestions.
You could really like struggle a little bit more on the escape part. Like maybe something happens that just makes it a little harder for him to get away. Like a door won't budge.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, how does he defeat this thing? Because it can't be too easy.
Right.
So
I mean, it should definitely play with his mind a little bit. Like, give him it should lie to him a couple of times. And, like,
well, maybe not. This thing already jump scared him and is acting like a monster that wants to eat his brains. I don't think it's going to suddenly pivot tactics.
Yeah.
I think you should lean into the rosary, because you've already established that the rosary does something. I don't mind you hitting it with a baseball bat, but I don't think you can. I think defeating an eldritch entity with a baseball bat is a little anticlimactic. Now you could play that for laughs. You could totally play it for laughs, but
the baseball bat isn't going to defeat the thing. The baseball bat is to buy time.
Sure. That makes sense.
It breaks his window, and he hits it with the baseball bat to just get it off his window so he can get something else. And he reaches into his glove box and grabs his holy water, and that's that. Maybe does trick, but go on.
You could have a moment where he sends that prayer up to God in the face of it, and he might. I've had a moment in the past, and I'm not trying to totally derail, it does pertain, but I had a Bible in one hand, a 9 in the other, and I told God, hey, I don't know if this thing could hurt and kill it, but at least make it hurt. So it could be a moment like that with the baseball bat.
Good idea.
Like,
so
at least
baseball,
let me bruise it.
So baseball bats are made out of ash wood typically, and ash actually in traditional Western European beliefs, ash is supposed to have magic power against demons. So I thought that maybe that would not necessarily kill it, but yeah, make it hurt.
Once again, sorry I'm texting so much. I've gotten text this guy about this sort of thing for the funeral tomorrow, and Ted then, okay, yeah, can you text my son? About 3 or 4 times. So I'm dealing with funeral stuff for tomorrow for our elders still. Brendan didn't hear that earlier, so I'm mentioning it. But yeah, I think you're getting some really good advice here from what I'm hearing. So
I'm getting great advice. This is exactly what I needed.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, let's go. Let's please, Abby.
Abby hasn't said anything yet.
I was just wondering if the nephew's drawing was foreshadowing. Does this creature resemble it in any way, or like something that could kind of scary? I don't know.
Well, it's going to become pertinent in another story. Because Sarah basically asked me to do a whole series of these for Logosophia magazine. And basically I ran out of ideas for Walter Ulrich. I mean, I have a few vague ideas, but none of them are fully baked, as it were. And I needed to do some more thriller stuff, and this was the next thing I have. And Mike McGee is very different from Walter in that Walter seeks out this stuff, this spooky stuff, to fight, and he's fully prepared for it, whereas Mike McGee, he's just a pizza delivery guy. He's just trying to do his job. The fact that he keeps running into this spooky stuff is really annoying to him.
I like that vibe of just like, this again.
I just wanted to deliver pizza. I just need a paycheck.
It's a very relatable feeling, having chronic issues with sleep paralysis for the longest time. You get to a point where you're just numb to it. It doesn't even affect you anymore. I'd see a ghoul in the corner of my room, and it's like, hey, Gerald, go away.
Gerald.
Gerald,
Gerald. You remember that from Finding Dory?
What was it?
Finding Dory. There's a seal named Gerald who's like the stupid one, and he keeps climbing on their rock, and they're like, "Get off the rock, Gerald!" Anyway, oh boy. So,
Gerald, put down those cinnamon rolls.
Brendan, are you sharing tonight?
I will be eventually, yes.
Sweet. Cool. So that means don't pick me next. Got it. So I have Joel, I have myself, and Abby is a maybe. So what are we doing next, guys? What do you think? Do you want to hear me? Do you want to hear Joel? Do we want to push Abby?
Go Abby.
Abby.
Can I just say something real quick?
Abby? Yes.
What's what I
Before we
want to say?
go on, one last
Yes.
thing, Ian. We've already established that he has the rosary. We already established that he says the in Jesus' name thing. You can try maybe adding in, as he is killing the thing, him yelling Psalm 18.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Maybe.
Psalms are always a good choice.
Anyway, so yeah. Or Psalm 68. Or something.
Or
Anyway.
91.
91.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
about to say.
Just go
as a
imprecatory
reference.
on them. Just yelling
There you
imprecatory Psalm angrily as he's beating this thing with a baseball bat. I don't know. Anyway.
94, God of vengeance, O Jehovah, God of vengeance, O sign forth. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna try. I'm literally just writing out one last paragraph because I did not have time last night. So I'm sorry.
Get her done. Go ahead, Abby. Unless you really want me to do one of the ones that I have, mine or Joel's.
I mean, I might as well. I just
Yay.
it's only half edited. I didn't have time. I was working. So,
I'm writing myself notes so I can remember this stuff.
Cool. Sounds good.
okay. I ain't good at this. So this story is called Rael'thil and the Red, A Glimpse into Asunder. All of the stories in Asunder begin with kind of like a date statement, so you know what year and age it is. This one is the year 709 in Asunder, in the age of the first bell. In this world, there's 2 bell ages, because the new age comes in with the ringing of a bell. There's 3 of them, but the 3rd one hasn't been rung yet until the end of the series, when the world ends. Says the veil has lain over the lands for more than 300 years. What the veil is basically is just like a it's nothing really, but it makes some things in the world invisible to other things and creates kind of like these folds in reality. So there's like this forest here is called the Lost Forest, and it's where there's like fairies and stuff live there, but humans can't see them usually. I guess that's background stuff you need to know. Okay, so Rael'thil the Centaur was born during a storm in the wild wood of the Lost Forest. A red-coated fury, he came howling and kicking into the young world. He grew up in the same way as the rest of the Centaur children, learning to shoot with a bow and arrows, and to recite the names of the trees in the Lost Forest, so that he wouldn't get lost, and to hate the ogres. The hate for ogres he learned last, and most cruelly. They came once to the Centaur's glade when Rael'thil was just over 8 years old. They came in the dark when the grown centaurs were reveling and drunken at their feast, and with giant spiked clubs and monstrous hands, they slaughtered the centaurs, including Rael'thil's family. Few centaurs escaped that night, eventually rebuilding their lives in a new glade. Rael'thil went with them, eager, bitter, and rageful, and would go out at night to howl with the storms. He became a hunter, seeking both food for his tribe and vengeance for his kin. Often he returned to the glade with himself and his weapons stained with the blood of ogres. Even though he also brought a wealth of food, venison, and the like, as well as treasures from ogre hordes, the other centaurs began to fear him. They called him Rael'thil the Bloody, Rael'thil the Red. Then I have to go back to where I haven't edited yet, because that's all I rewrote today. Thus estranged, he would wander further and further away from the glade, over the edges of the wild wood and into the lost forest, keeping well away still from the Elf King's barrier in the middle. One day as he went, he heard a sound like heavy footsteps following him. Suspecting an ogre, he ducked behind some greenery and set an arrow to his bowstring. The closer the steps came, the heavier they sounded. Before it came into sight, it already sounded far too heavy to be an ogre. A tree nearby fell forward, just missing Rael'thil with its lowest branches. With another deafening crash, a second tree followed. Rael'thil jumped out of the way to avoid being hit, at the same time exposing himself to a red-eyed glare. The creature stood 3 times as tall as the biggest ogre that Rael'thil had ever faced. It was the same blue color as the river clay, with deep, ugly brownish scars running along its chest and arms. Its back was covered with pebble-like scales, and it had 2 sets of yellow fangs protruding from its lower jaw and another one on the upper. Its eyes were red, that's redundant, glowing in the twilight, and it stank of dusty cobwebs, I guess, because it's not in the marsh. It hesitated less than a second before charging Rael'thil. A long, bloody spike raised above its head, ready to kill. Rael'thil shot at it once, his arrow embedded in its left shoulder, but it had no effect. Rael'thil fired once more, his second arrow hitting near the first. The monster only roared and came faster. Drawing his long knife, Rael'thil pawed at the ground with his hooves, ready to run as fast as he could. Lightning flashed and thunder crackled against the sky. The leaves swirled in a whisper. The smell of blood shot past on the wind. Fresh blood. Metal flashed bright out the corner of his eye, almost as bright as the lightning. There came, instead of thunder, a sound like flapping wings. The smell of blood came closer, making Rael'thil's nostrils twitch in an effort to sneeze. Fairy blood. Before he could register these things, before even a third tree felled by the monster could hit the ground, the fairy leapt into view. He held a long, bright sword in his left hand and a terrible spear in his right. The blood came from his right shoulder, staining the cloak he wore and running down his breastplate because he's wounded. The fairy leapt like a deer, standing like a sudden mountain between Rael'thil and the monster. The monster now had 3 of Rael'thil's arrows in its chest, and its blood was black, like the horns on its head and the spike in its hand. Should have mentioned that sooner, that it has horns as well. The third tree fell, half a second after the fairy landed. The monster uttered another bone-rattling roar. My handwriting is really bad. And then, as soon as the creature drew near, the fairy hits it with this the spear. Sorry, I'm running out of clear writing here. Rael'thil dove aside to avoid getting hit with flying pieces of the spear, which shattered when the fairy struck the monster. And then basically the fairy and this monster have a huge fight, and the monster's gonna kill the fairy because that's what he does. He's kind of an evil thing. And Rael'thil's standing there, he's like, should I run away or should I try to help? he figures if he doesn't try to help, then the monster's just gonna come after him afterwards and kill him anyway. So he ends up shooting it in the eye this time and distracts it long enough so he can pick up the broken spear, and then he jumps up and dabs it with it. Then he kills the monster and sits down for a minute. That's about it for now.
I have to say, I absolutely adore any non-Greek centaurs in fantasy in general. Like non-explicitly Greek, let's put it that way. I know Tolkien disagrees with me, but I absolutely adore centaurs in just random fiction.
This centaur actually eventually becomes a little bit Greek centaur-esque later on in the series when he kind of takes on the role of Chiron. But to start with, he's kind of like this
Technically, it
Just
should be
wild
pronounced
rogue.
Chiron, but whatever.
Mhm.
Technically, Chiron is supposed to be pronounced Chiron because it's Greek, but
Lo siento, senor.
but that is having a theology professor for a father coming out.
Exactly.
Oops,
By
did
the way,
I
hello,
accidentally
Kira.
an ancient Greek?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
Oh.
okay. You can honestly, if you pronounced it Chiron in the story, it probably would be better.
Well,
I kind of like the
that's not his name, so.
I kind of like the metaphysics of what's going on with the veil. This makes me wonder, like, what is the time period in relation to humans? Because since you have sort of a thing, is this our world? But the other world? What are we doing here metaphysically? Is this a completely separate fictional world, or is this parallel with our world?
It's completely separate. It's
Okay.
kind of medieval times and stuff. It's just that nobody really like believes in fairies and stuff anymore later on.
Is that due
yeah.
to the veil? Gotcha. What brought about the veil? Can you say that without spoilers?
Well, it's a really old part of the story. So yeah, it's there were these 12 like wizard minister guys, and they were in charge of like keeping order of stuff. And one of them turned evil and brought about the breaking of the world. And he basically, kind of like in the Silmarillion, drew a lot of creatures towards the dark, but also then made his own, which is really like where the ogres come from. And this monster rather is a troll. So
Gotcha.
every one of the evil creatures is kind of a mockery of a good creature. The trolls are based on giants, which is why I was really confused by, I have marshy references here, but it really should be mountain references. Because the giants are mountain people.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds like a ton of fun. I wish I could stay longer, but I have other things pulling me away.
All right, man.
That does sound like a lot of fun. It does sound like a lot of fun. That sounds very whimsical. I love the 12. You got to have 12 wizards. You got to have one that goes bad. Yes. That's fun. All right, bye.
All right, man. More
There's
thoughts
actually
for
4
Abby?
What?
No, were you saying you actually for what?
There's 4 of them that end up going bad. And another dragon. So.
Yay, dragons. Any other thoughts for Abby?
Love it.
It's good. I like to see the edited version. See what you keep, what you work. See what your writing style naturally evokes.
So I'm working on it. I'm pretty close. I also have massive stage fright, so I'm struggling to read. Sorry.
Understood. No, you did a great job. You got through everything very well, especially considering not all of it's finished, right? Did a great job. I think the stage fright element is something Broodcast wise that people I'm still trying to play with and figure out, because obviously I can read something, but if you only have it written on paper, you would have to, scan it or give me pictures of it, and I'd have to read your handwriting, and that it's a little rough, so, but like,
Yes.
but yeah, so that's something, if you want, though, when you type some stuff up or whatever, want me to read instead of you, that's perfectly doable. Whatever you want to do, but I want people to feel comfortable is my point. So
Honestly, I would rather get better at reading.
yeah, I like that attitude.
But like, if I wanted it done like really well before I get better at reading, I would just send you the typed up version.
Yep. So that's an option. Just keep it in the back of your mind. Kirith, are you sharing tonight?
I unfortunately I realized that I really need to make sure that I have a whole first draft before I share anything. Otherwise, I get stuck in my stories.
Sure.
So.
Not a problem. Well, whenever you want to, feel free. So
I'm gonna have to call it.
Brendan's probably gonna have something.
Oh, you're gonna call it a night, Ian?
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right, man. Well, you have a
I'll
good
look
night.
forward to it. Ian, watch my section and tell me what you think later. Nerd.
Okay.
Also, you have the brain cell today, I guess, because I was just fumbling.
Hooray!
Make sure that it's cleaned before you return it.
Oh, man, what do you think I am? Uncivilized?
No, just a noble savage.
All right. Night, guys.
Have a good night, bro.
God bless.
Okay. So now we have Brendan, Joel, me, and me. So who's next? What do we say? I'm happy to go next. I'm happy to have Joel go next.
I think it would make sense for either you or Joel, because that way you're not marathoning it.
Fair enough.
So you, then me, then you.
Yeah, you need these back.
That is assuming Abby has time to stay and listen to 3 more.
So let's see here. We'll see if she does or not. And it's okay if she doesn't. We can still read them.
I do. I just had a sister burst in real quick.
Suddenly, sibling.
Yes. So do we want to do me or Joel first?
Flip a coin.
Alphabetical.
Alphabetical?
Joel would be first if it's first name. Last name would be me first. But what about middle name? No, I'll just you know what? I've been last a whole bunch lately. I'm reading next for me.
Go. Yeah. Do it. Just do it.
All right. So last time we read that Joshua Slater was basically the Jessica found out from his former teacher Joshua's full story, pretty much, in that he was in high school. It was homecoming game as a senior. He's got his whole life planned out. He's a couple years ago proposed to Anne, and they're like, we're gonna get married as right out of high school. I got this job lined up to be a head coach in football. Everything's gonna be great. And then they are gonna walk home from school because it's not that far, but he's like, I'm tired, even though he didn't play much of the game at all. In fact, he got tossed out of the homecoming game so he could go sit with Anne. So they decide they're going to drive home. He didn't want to deal with the car being at school and all that stuff. And then they get hit by a driver and Anne dies. and Joshua is basically has some kind of TBI, gets seriously messed up. Gary is gonna speak on the rest. From there, we just had that whole flashback scene, and now it's Gary, Joshua's trainer, former trainer, I should say, the one who brought him into wrestling, and Jessica speaking in Waffle House in the current day, which is roughly 2010. So here we go. This one's called Aftermath. And after that fateful night, Joshua Slater shut down. He never got his coaching job, and he'd never see Anne in a white gown. His parents tried for over a year to reach him where he was, to get him back on track and recovered, but they realized it was a lost cause. In a very tough but loving way, they pushed him out of the nest, because he'd never be as strong as he could if he wasn't pushed to be the best. Joshua was angry, and he found his sport. It was something to help him cope. Soon his anger turned to excitement. Wrestling gave him hope. But when athletic ladies beckoned him to know them that much more, he ran and hid because of loyalty to the one who's still at his core. I hope that you can reach him, Jess. He respects the world out of you. Please don't give up on him. Stick to him like glue. He needs a friend as loyal as Anne, and as patient as God above. And I see it in your eyes, and I hope it too. Maybe he'll learn again to love. After that, the talk with Gary Horner, Jessica headed back to town. She had no clue where Joshua was staying, so she asked around. She wasn't surprised to find he was parked out in his van in the arena parking lot, where any wrestlers can, but most who stayed in the lot had a big tour bus in which to sleep. And so in order to not wake the others, to his van she creeped. I know creeped is not a word, but it rhymes. It's fine. She knocked on his back door, and Joshua opened up. He groggily stepped out and sat on the tailgate, holding a Superman cup. Remember, she's Supergirl. She smiled at the symbol that she usually wore on her chest, that she spent so much time to license, that inspired her to be the best. She had been scared to talk to Joshua before that, to confront him about his past. But once she saw that simple symbol, she knew that she'd outlast any discomfort that she felt now. It was time to let him know all the feelings she had for him, and to him compassion show. And since I usually read two, we're going into the next one, Understanding. I need to write more of an introduction for this one. There's a lot of other stuff. This is still, whatever, but it just begins with Jessica speaking. I talked with Gary Horner. I had some things to say about why you seem afraid of me and why I'm close, and when I'm close you won't stay. He told me about Anne, Joshua. Joshua stopped dead in his tracks. Why do you keep it a secret from me? I won't judge. You can relax. Why did you keep it secret from me? I won't judge. You can relax. Joshua sat for a minute, in quiet contemplation, staring blankly forward at the ground. He needed some motivation. Jessica put a hand on his shoulder, and he looked at her. Don't you worry. You don't have to be sure. I'm so thankful for your friendship. You've reinvigorated me to fight inside the squared circle and really just to be me. You deserve a loyal friend who won't push for more. But you need to stick with me, Joshua Slater. As a manager, I have a lot more in store. Joshua smiled, and then he laughed, and he went back into his van and came out with an acoustic guitar and a pick in the other hand. He sang some songs with her that night about friendship, loss, and life, and together they celebrated their new friendship on the tailgate by the moonlight. Needs more to it. This is where I'm starting to get a little thin. This was a period of writing where I was pretty minimal, just trying to get stuff done. But story-wise, we've been following this one for 2 episodes now. That's the end of this episode. We've done 2 episodes. The first one was called A Rookie Rises. The second one was called A Mentor Appears. And the third will be A Supergirl's Legacy when we get to it. So that's where we're at. I guess I'm giving that context because I'm not thrilled with how these are. So tear them apart if you want. It needs some work.
I think what you have is good, but I think you are. I mean, I think you're already aware of what you need. I think having. I think writing out the full conversation before they get like giving her trying to show her trying to lead in and trying to like start the conversation like not necessarily awkwardly, like she knows she has to talk, but like trying just because she knows she has to talk and just
Stage
because
fright.
she knows
She has a little stage fright, yeah.
well, yeah, but it's not even she might not I'm not necessarily sure it's stage fright. It's how do I even bring this up? Right. And then at some point she just goes, screw it, direct approach.
Right. That's a good idea.
I think that's really all you need. Maybe a little more on the back end of Joshua's response to her. Because right now it's just she talks at him, he freezes, and then she pep talks him more, and he's like, cool. Rather than
I think I need to actually have some song lyrics in there.
I kind of want a little more back and forth where he's like, why did you keep a secret? It wasn't your business or whatever, or
yeah.
Something like give him a little bit of reply because as is, it's just a hair like I don't want to say underwhelming, but it's not. It's just kind of.
It's not satisfying yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Gary needs a little work too. I think that what he's saying is right, but I think I need a little bit of language about his physicality and bringing this stuff up with her, and the fact that he is uncomfortable bringing up that Joshua actually like needs her like as a person. You know what I mean? And all the other sorts of stuff, and even suggesting that to her. You know, he's been in the wrestling industry a while, but she's had more success than him, you know, and so this is like him bringing it up to a celebrity, so to speak, not like a huge celebrity, but someone who's had a good amount of success. So like he's going to be uncomfortable. He's going to be like, now I am your elder, but in the wrestling business, but you've had more success than me. I'm going to level with you. This is what I see, and this is what he needs. And I love him like a son, and I know that you can give him what he needs. Yeah, both professionally, as a friend, possibly even more, right? Like, I think him being that frank is good, but he needs to feel more uncomfortable saying it. So, any other thoughts before we move on to Brendan?
Not really. I kind of agree with what Brendan was saying about the conversation needing some back and forth, because it kind of seems like she says stuff and he goes and grabs a guitar. But I know more happened. Like, maybe just like a pause kind of.
I think I want his reply to be a song, because I think that's what I was going for. But I think having some talk after the song with some back and forth would be good. I really do feel like he's going to be so overwhelmed that by her knowing now, because he really doesn't tell anyone about it at all as a general rule, that he's going to be like, okay, she's a friend. I have a lot of emotion right now, and I need to let it out before I say anything to her. You know, so but that's an internal character thing for him. But I think you're right. He does need to talk to her. He does need to actually say some stuff, and not just in the next episode. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Brendan, you all set?
Sure.
Rock and roll, my friend.
All right, this is from Bard King Trilogy, Book 1. It is just a scene that I wrote recently because budget. This is before. This is early on in the journey. Eleanor is the name of the girl who hires the Red Razors to basically bring her across a country, almost across the continent, but crossing through at least one country, which is more like multiple countries. But either way, Tiernan had been lucky enough to get some early rest before the second watch. The night air was brisk, but the coals he tended were a comforting warmth. Looking up, Tiernan's thoughts drifted home. The air smelled different. The clouds didn't move like they did on the steppes, and the damp moss on the trees glistened in the moonlight. He never thought he would miss the plains, but now he had lost count of how many times he longed to go back. But as with all things, he looked up and saw a familiar constellation that his people used for navigation. A slight smile crossed his lips, and he let his soft melancholy flow from his mouth in song, as he always did when his heart felt full. The grass blows gently to the breeze, our rolling hills grow dark. The crackling of a fire holding back the silence stark. Yet through the sky the eternal rider leads the stars by reins. The silver stars who watch my people all across the plains. The wolf's teeth rise to hunt their prey, as they have always done. Their jagged edge reminds me of the tales my father sung. And though I walk the paths to which my kin have never known, the sky above remains the one our spirits all have flown. The broken bow with shattered string o'erarcs the southern skies. I followed it to find the land my legend will arise. But when twin rivers flow together towards the western light, I know like water I must carry on with all my might. When loneliness sets heavy as the mountain's shadow falls, I seek the empty saddle rising high above us all. For though the hero's absence marks its silent hollow curve, the waiting mount reminds me of why I choose who to serve. One sky connects far distant lands to fields I once did run. One weaver's loom counts passing time and marks the deeds I've done. The nomad's wheel still turns above the hills of distant home and guides my heart through darkness to where I choose to roam. It's beautiful. Tiernan leapt and turned to see Eleanor standing a short distance from the firelight. He gave a slight bow with his head. Thank you, my lady, he stammered. My apologies if I woke you. I didn't notice you were there. I wasn't for very long. She meandered over to the fire, her eyes watching the embers before looking up at Tiernan. You have a great voice. Tiernan glanced away, unsure of protocol in this situation. That is kind of you to say, Miss Eleanor. Eleanor leaned over into Tiernan's view, a slight smirk on her face. What, you don't want to look at me? She let out a mock gasp. Am I that hideous? No, Tiernan looked at her, and his worried face caused her to laugh. Relax, song boy, she smiled, a mischievous yet warm smile. Tiernan's heart seemed to drop. For to him it was the same smile his little sister would give him all those years ago. His shoulders relaxed, and his gentle smile returned. Shouldn't you be sleeping, my lady? He returned to his sitting position by the fire. Eleanor's smile lessened, but didn't disappear. I couldn't. Moving over, she joined him, sitting with more of the movement of a young girl than of a rich merchant's daughter. I wish I could. Tiernan sensed her mind was troubled. Is there anything I can do to help? Eleanor considered the embers, then looked at the young man. Could you tell me what you were singing? Tiernan looked up at the night sky. Turning his head north, he pointed up, tracing an outline in the stars. My people are from the steppes of Nara. For us, the sky is where our spirits fly to in death, and if you are great enough, your legend can leave its mark in the sky. Each constellation is a legend, but also a guide to help us. Tiernan paused and traced a line through the sky. That is the Eternal Rider. He was the first of our people to tame the wild creatures of the steppes. He marks north for us, so we can always find him, no matter. He marks north for us, so we can always find him, no matter the season. Eleanor sat quietly as she looked. I never was good at seeing what constellations were supposed to be. Tiernan chuckled. It's definitely harder to do if you haven't grown up with it. He looked up and traced a zigzag along some bright stars. Those are the wolf's teeth. Legend says that he hunted Leviathan, who drank all of the water in our lands. It's nearing the end of the rainy season, so he's heading back to his den. Do you miss it? Tiernan's eyes drifted into the distance. It was almost as if he was watching the question float through the sky, drifting lazily among the stars. I was responsible for performing the morning animal care. I would take our herd out to the pasture before the sun came up. While they did their grazing, I would sit on the hill and watch the sunrise. The purple sky opening to the orange red of the sun never got old. I remember the trickling of the streams as they went through towards east. I remember the golden grass. But most of all, I remember my sister's smile. Tiernan couldn't help but smile as he pictured the joy on his sister's face as she bounced on one of the bison. I would be lying if I said I did not miss it. So, what brings you out here then? Eleanor's voice was quiet. Her eyes, though obviously tired, were focused on Tiernan with a gentle intensity. Tiernan chuckled and pushed some coals around. I was trained in the stories of my people. All the legends, all the constellations, all the songs, I was taught to sing them to keep our traditions alive. With all these songs, I wanted to experience one of my own. And unfortunately, that's as far as I got.
Well done, sir. I enjoyed it. I like hearing it with the context because you and I worked on the lyrics a little bit. And all that kind of stuff. I loved hearing that in context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
How we doing, Alex?
Doing well. I came in halfway through the song, so I don't have much to say. But
the song was near the beginning. The bulk of this, the only thing before that was just Tiernan woke up for second watch and was pushing coals around. He felt sad and wanted to sing.
I really liked the word picture of watching the question float in midair. I thought that worked especially well.
I was going to say that.
Also, it's kind of it's a little bit of an interesting idea with the stars that you're doing. It reminds me of Maori culture with what they do with the tattoos, but it's sort of anglified in a really cool way. It kind of Europeanized, you know. I like it.
Yeah. For those of you, because you can't read, I forgot to link it. I'm sorry. It's okay. So it's hard. So those of you who prefer to read along, a bunch of the, there are a whole bunch of constellation nids named in the song. Mm-hmm. So, the Eternal Rider, Wolf's Teeth, Broken Bow, Twin Rivers, Empty Saddle, Weaver's Loom, and Nomad's Wheel. Those are all the ones that are named. And I tried to capitalize them so that it's obvious that they're proper nouns, but I missed a couple of the second words I forgot to capitalize. So that's just a little thing, but.
Yeah, I like it. You were doing this because Jesse had suggested doing more of something shirey or something a little bit more like regular everyday life kind of thing, right? That was part of the inspiration.
kind of. Some of it was the regular everyday life. Some of it was like why do the grand quest? Why go to kill the dragon? Like, you know, it's like what is the thing you're trying to protect? And this isn't quite that, but it's more. It's closer.
Mm-hmm.
As we start in the base state of just getting to know sort of Tyrannon's backstory, for lack of a better word.
One thing that has been getting continually better with this story in general, this world, this story, the characters, you have a very, very, very strong sense of beauty that is introspective. And putting stuff out that is it is an introspective way of thinking and looking and narrating that produces a lot of beauty, and not everybody can do that. I do really like that. And yes, you could say I don't want to use the word mopey, but it's melancholic. You could say all that kind of stuff, and yeah, maybe, but like there's a beauty beyond itself. The stuff he's thinking about, the stuff he's talking about, the stuff he's singing about, that is somber, yes, in the moment, but you can tell there is a true hope beyond himself that really shines as more beautiful than his immediate melancholy. There's a transcendence that really shines through.
One might say there's a beauty higher than the songs that I can sing.
Yeah, or above all shadows rides the sun and stars forever dwell. Go with Tolkien, you know. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Any other thoughts, Brendan? Go ahead.
I really hope that my recording doesn't get all choppy and janky.
Well,
Hopefully.
I've got Craig on it, and I've got OBS on it in like 2 different ways. So I think we're going to be fine.
I forgot to turn on my OBS for a local recording that I could send you. I'm very mad because I got it all set up and everything, and it was working, and then I forgot to hit start record because I was like, oh no, it's time to go.
Well, I've got everything going tonight. So another thing that I decided to start doing is I have my 2 monitors, as some of you know, and I've decided to actually record both when I'm recording shows. Just to make sure that everything that I have on the computer whatsoever gets recorded, and I can have a bigger screen for anything someone sends to me writing wise. I can just make it full screen and edit it however I need to so that people can actually read along as we go. So yeah, anyone who does send me text, I'll make sure it's full screen. So I closed Joel's thing. I gotta go get that.
I really
again.
like the song, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He and I worked on melody a little bit together, and the lyrics a little bit, so that was fun. Mostly him on melody.
It's a very nice song.
I really, if I had it, it's the song is sort of in minor, but one thing I really want to do is if I ever get like if I ever get an instrument accompaniment, because it's like da 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 da. This is basically do in the minor scale, so this would be a ba 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 ba. That's the minor thing. I really want that note to become a major chord. So da 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 da, sort of major. Then it goes back to minor the first time around because it repeats. So cool. It's in minor. Yeah. But I heard there's a group called Aviators. They have a song called Here Comes the Ravens, which is sort of a prog rock song based on Bloodborne, which is a From Software game known for Dark Souls and stuff like that. And they do that exact thing with where the song is mostly in minor. It's kind of in major, it's kind of in minor, it's kind of this weird modal thing. But it does a sort of deceptive cadence right on the first line, and I'm like, oh, that's good. So I
yes, indeed. Oh boy. Ooh, that scratches my
Shiny
brain.
math rocks with
Yes.
D&D. Clack, clack, clack.
Yes. Yes. All right. Any other thoughts for Brendan before we get to Joel's? Alex, were you sharing
Nothing on
something
this
or
one.
no?
Nope. I mean, I
Okay.
can talk about the project if we need to fill time, but I don't need to.
Okay. Well, Joel's the last one if
The
it's not you.
project's
So,
DM.
Cool.
all right.
Did I miss the Wilsons at all?
You missed A. Wilson.
A. Wilson, Ian, yes.
Okay.
So, but yes, Ian's shared, and Abby shared some.
Was Ian doing
So
more Heart of the Stars?
No, he was
No.
doing his guy who's in the Walter Ulrich universe, who's a pizza guy.
Oh, yeah.
Mike
So-
McGee.
Cool.
Mike McGee, yeah. All right.
Okay.
We'll do 36. This I think it's chapter 36, but 36 champion down. No! Kira yelled at the screens. She turned and ran for the door. Kimwa Rael'thil, where are you going? Zif Khan barked. We are not authorized to go into the city. Try and stop me. On the comm, she yelled. Booster, get 2 mechs on the next runner. Yes, Captain. What happened? Fox is down. I guess it's italicized text, so I think it's thinking, but it says, what did Death Wish do this time? By the time Kira got to the hangar, the planet runner was already warmed up. Booster and Antonio had 3 mechs loaded. You do not have time. You do not have to come. I may be in trouble for this, Kira said, seeing Booster getting into the 3rd mech. And if Fox finds out that I let you go alone into the Horde, he would tear me apart with his bare hands, Booster shot back. No time to waste arguing, Captain. Nodding, the purple captain turned to the pilot. Take off, full speed. Grabbing a support bar along the ceiling, Booster hooked 2 arms more around Antonio, keeping him from being knocked off his feet as the craft shot out of the hangar. Using the training Booster had just given him, Tony strapped Kira into her mech. I'm coming too, he said. He saved my life. Excuse me. I'm coming too. He saved my life, and you'll need someone with free hands, he said to the captain. Kira looked at Booster, who shrugged and made a gesture with his somewhat clumsy armored hands. Let me link this one. I should have linked mine when I did it, but here you are. That should be good for you. If you can't pull it up, let me know. Let's see. Kira looked at Booster, who shrugged and made a gesture with his somewhat clumsy armored hands. Thank you, she managed to say. She fought back tears, thinking of how Fox had saved so many lives, hundreds of people personally, and tens of thousands, maybe millions more with his actions. He did not deserve to die like this. Jets of water shot up in the wake of the craft speeding across the Hudson towards the city. Kira began to have flashbacks. She was watching from a shuttle, speeding over a different world as the second craft, carrying her mate, father, and mother, was shot down and crashed on the planet below. She remembered Fox holding her as she wept, and her father's last words as they fell replayed again and again in her head. I love you. Watch over Fox. Keep him safe for me. He's your charge now. I cannot lose him too, she said to herself. I will not lose him. Chip looked up from his banana split with a jerk. It startled Zoe. Brain freeze? She asked, laughing. He looked silly with ice cream in the fur around his mouth. No, it is. He stopped and looked at Zoe with concern. I think we need to go now. He took her hand with his tail and hurried on all fours to the door. At the door, he sat up and stopped her from entering the hallway. Kira flew past, running faster than any human could. Chip looked unsure of where to go. They are telling me to take you back to your room, he told Zoe. Where is Starlet? Please take me to her. Chip nodded and led her, running on all fours down the opposite way. They came to the war room. Several aliens and Hal were all staring over Starlet's shoulder at the dozen screens floating in front of her. Zoe tried to get close while staying out of the way. Amongst the floating displays, she found one showing the scan of a man's body. That must be Fox. Large parts of the body were flashing red. There were 4 screens showing views from the city. One tagged helmet view was on the ground looking up. The view sat still, so she knew the helmet was not moving. The other 3 views looked like they were from within the crowd. They hurried forward through burnt and smoking heaps toward a man standing on a car. "Oh!" Zoe exclaimed, recognizing the armor on the ground. Starlet looked around at Zoe, tears running through the fur on her cheeks. She held out a hand and squeezed Zoe's for just a second before turning back to her screens. In that look, Zoe felt all of the emotions as they were flooding Starlet. Her worst fears were coming true on the screen. Starlet is hacking 3 of the corrupted," someone was explaining to Hal. Zoe listened intently. On the 3rd monitor, she saw 2 of the corrupted lie down, covering Fox. 2 displays just showed the ground now, and Starlet moved them to the side. On the 3rd screen, Starlet highlighted all of the corrupted approaching Fox, and the hacked body began attacking them. The view swung in wild arcs as it struck at the others that came close. It gave Zoe motion sickness to watch it. A new window opened, and it showed the inside of some kind of craft. The view zipped by the window. An empty mech suit appeared in the corner of the screen, and several navigational controls and readouts populated down the screen's edge. A mechanical hand lifted into the view screen. It reached up, and the view turned to follow it, as it grabbed an overhead railing to steady itself. If she can remote a mech, why don't you remote them all the time?" Hal asked. "They are less accurate and slower. There are also sometimes connection issues." Starlet opened another new screen. This one showed a female Astari outline, superimposed over a mech suit. It was Kimwa Aralta. Menus were popping up across all the screens, blinking and disappearing so fast Zoe's eyes couldn't keep up with them. Starlet's hands gripped the edge of the desk as she navigated the menus with her implants. "Starlet, you do not need to do that," said the large Astari male who had been talking to Hal. "Charm, you can free up to run OPS. Can you free up to run OPS for Kira? She will need a handler." "No, I got her," Starlet broadcast. He said something in the alien language that Zoe's glasses translated for her. "Starlet, you are going to overtemp." "I've got her," was all she said, furiously navigating menus and operating the corrupted through the tiers. Her hands never moved. "Then she will run booster," the big alien said, moving over to another desk and leaning over the operator there. Zoe recognized the female who had first run from the cafeteria. He whispered something. A screen opened with a figure that must be Starlet because of the tail and arms. The iridescent Astari typed an override code in and several dots highlighted in her head, glowing bright orange. The 2 monitored and made some adjustments. The colored dots faded to a yellow. The changing displays stopped. Taking a deep breath, Starlet began using her fingers to operate menus. Even so, she was still going faster than Zoe could keep up. "Charlie, you have friendlies incoming. Give them as much cover as you can," Charm said into her microphone. "Zeep Khan, what is overtemp? Is it dangerous?" Hal asked the big male. He had also gotten a translation. "If you push the processor too hard, it overheats, right?" the Astari explained in a hushed tone. "Right?" Hal nodded. "Well, if something overheats when it is implanted in your brain, it can do irreparable damage. I am worried she could be cooking herself from the inside out." Zeef Khan motioned to the window of Starlet. "Charm over here is going to slow them down remotely. She can operate her controls with her hands instead of instead of from her implants. That will give her a little relief. Zoe looked around the rest of the room. 2 of the largest screens were tagged Kit and Hammer. Both showed helmet cam shots of staircases. Kit was running up, taking them 3 at a time. Hammer was rushing down, jumping entire flights with each bound. They were trying to get out of their buildings as fast as they could, so they could come to Fox's aid. Hammer reached the ground floor. He burst through the door, spraying bullets into the lobby of whatever building he was in. Most of the corrupted in the room never even had a chance to see who had entered. He moved to the front door. On the screen, she could see a helicopter approaching down the street. Its location was marked with a green icon and a distant counter that was falling fast. As it grew, Hammer pushed out of the door, climbed the nearest car, and launched himself into the air. He caught the landing skids of the helicopter as it flew by and climbed in. By this time, Kit had reached the rooftop access from his stairs. He began running across the rooftops to climb into the nearby chopper. Zoe felt a question in her mind. How far away are they? Without knowing why, she looked at the next desk. A bright yellow male Astari was uploading data. His screen showed Kit's helmet view. Kit was in the chopper, looking between Hammer and the door. She saw a map with his location. In an instant, she knew they would be there in 140 seconds. The question came from Starlet. She was using Zoe to answer questions about what was going on so she didn't have to look up. And Zoe was happy to help. So that's where it ends for this reading. So, thoughts? Critique?
The overheating was explained well.
I think so. I agree. I like generally the idea of one person going down and like everyone's rushing to his aid. That's a interesting thing from just a choreography perspective, because it's not something that people generally think of. But if Fox is as heroic as he's shown, it makes sense to a certain extent that people would just be like, screw the fight, we need to save Fox, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he did a good.
I think he also did. Like, to heck with higher command.
Right.
Like, I'm going to save my guy. Like, I think that, especially given the context of Starlet being bullied by others and the whole scene where like that shows that the aliens are not, you know, necessarily caring much about humans and stuff like that. The fact that Fox goes down, it's an oh crap moment, and everybody is just putting aside everything and they're all working together to get this guy back, I think is cool. Right.
Yep.
I think that is really telling. Yeah, it's really good. I liked it. Had a hard time focusing, but that has nothing to do with him. Everything to do with my tired mental state.
I wasn't stumbling as bad as I usually do on his, but there was a few stumbly bits and a few commas that didn't need to be there, I noticed, but nothing about the story itself that's a problem.
Yeah. I think he did a good job of making it feel like everybody was dropping what they were doing and running to him. Like the usage of shifting perspectives was good.
Yes.
Like he shifted perspectives well.
Yes, very much so. Any other thoughts for Joel?
I also liked I can't remember who it was, but it's like, you're going to be okay. I got her. You're overheating. I got her. Right. Like, shut up and let me do my job.
Right.
You know, stop worrying about me. You know, I liked that character interaction. Because it shows a lot about those characters. Again, I was having a really hard time focusing, so I don't know if that was Starlight or if it was something else. And I'm not 100% sure I was tracking what was going on with that, if she was overheating or what was going on.
Starlight was overheating because she had she has the implant in her head that allows her to do the telepathy thing. She was using that to control all of these displays and all of these connections with the various soldiers and stuff, and she was like super hyper multitasking, locked in to help save Fox. So that was the idea.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It was sort of more of a it was sort of like a if anybody here has seen Firefly, the first episode, the very first episode, when Alan Tudyk's character is piloting and dodging the Reavers, he's normally this joking character, and he's doing his thing. He's like, if everybody could just be quiet for a moment. Just this, he goes from this loud, boisterous character to this super calm, understated, that like tonal shift in his character when he focuses. I think that it's not the same thing, but you get a similar effect with when Starlet is doing her thing. She's overheating, somebody's panicking, and she basically snaps at them going like, I got this, shut up, without actually saying shut up, right? You know, it's like, I got this, I've got her, right? You know, that's very, very good. I'm sure there are things you can fix. I'm too tired to think about them. This is so that Ian doesn't get mad that we're only praising Joel.
Yeah, there you go.
I was having a hard time keeping up with the story.
Okay.
The head hopping
you heard
was confusing for me.
The head hopping was confusing for you.
I don't know anything about Joel's story, except it has aliens in it. So
yeah, this as an introduction to his story is a little rough, but yeah.
So
I think you might have an easier time if you had all the previous chapters,
like world building and stuff.
All the previous chapters leading up to this point. I think it would make it easier because you would have had like, okay, here's who these characters are, right? And so that way you're not like, wait, who are we with now?
Yeah,
that might help, but. Also, I read R.A. Salvatore, and Joel reminds me a lot of Space R.A. Salvatore. So,
yeah.
I liked R.A. Salvatore's books a little bit, but I haven't read them in a long time.
The other thing Joel reminds me of in general, and I've always said, is he reminds me of Roland Emmerich movies like Independence Day and things like that. He has a lot of characters that have a lot of interesting plots and stuff, but like the bulk big story is the thing, the big main threat, and everyone individually has to like team up to make sure that they finish the big threat. It feels very much like a Roland Emmerich movie in that it's, you know, an alien invasion kind of a thing, and we have all these characters on ground level trying to somehow rise above the imminent threat. And so yeah, anytime you come into a Roland Emmerich movie halfway through, it's like, what is going on? Wait, Will Smith's in this movie? Since when? Right? Because he hasn't been in the last 6 scenes I watched, you know, so yeah. But yeah, so. All right. Well, if there aren't any further things to share, I can go ahead and wrap here, and we can move on to hanging out for a few minutes if you want. I think all of us are pretty tired too, so there's that.
I'm good to hang out.
I'm good to hang out for a little bit. But yeah, it's been quite the week. Anyway, everybody, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.
You too can be a part of Poets at War and the Brood. Just visit joshuadavidling.com/Discord to join. We want you, soldier, to be part of the Poets at War family. For more information, visit joshuadavidling.com.